I'm going to explain to you guys now why Amazon is the best opportunity to start a business and just in general the best investment that you can make of your time and money. So here's the basic concept, okay? Amazon is the search engine of products at the end of the day. So when you go and Google something, well, I just did it right there. When you're going to look something up on the internet, you say, go Google it. And pretty much everybody goes to Google. So this is essentially what people do with Amazon. So basically 46.7% of all searches for products start at the Amazon search bar. And then on top of that, 34.6% go to Google. But when you go to Google and you type something in, guess what the number one, other than the ads, guess what the number one search result almost always is? It's almost always an Amazon link. So they have the highest ranking. People go there. Basically, the main concept here is that Amazon is the search engine of products. So you want to, if you have a website and you want to get found, you want to be on Google. If you have a product and you want it to be found, it goes to Amazon. Not only is it where people go, but e-commerce is a megatrend. So really take that into account. So currently e-commerce added $500-600 million last year alone, and it's going to keep growing and growing every single year. Now it'll be up to about $5 trillion by 2021, but it may even be larger than that. So if we take a look at this as a percentage of all of e-commerce, this is just specifically in the United States, it is growing rapidly. And I see a day where this is 50-50 split, where essentially half is online and half is in a physical retail store. But what is actually being more disruptive, it might be more than that, because what I've noticed lately, I got introduced to on-demand delivery apps such as Instacart, Uber Eats, stuff like that. And I really dread going to a retail store now. I will pay an extra premium for people to just go pick the stuff up from the retail store for me. But still, a retail store is not the most ideal environment. So essentially, as time goes on, there will be warehouses in more local areas, and then you'll be able to get those a lot faster. So Amazon has Prime now, and eventually that'll be growing out more and more. So you'll be able to get your products into people's hands within a couple of hours. And basically, if something's over 4 hours, I'm like frustrated and I might not even buy it. So I not only, it used to be 7 days for shipping, then Amazon Prime made 2 day really popular. And then now I'm finding that 2 days is often too long, especially if you buy on a Thursday, it doesn't come till Monday, you need it right now. And that's where the trend is going. So there's nothing really stopping this at all. Those stats are a little bit different when it comes to other countries, but the United States is leading in e-commerce, and all the countries are going to follow at some point, all right? All right, so there's 180 more countries or more to come. So I remember when I went to Bali and I was looking to purchase products on the internet, it was very odd. There was barely any suggestions. I couldn't even find a green screen. And when it got delivered, I actually couldn't pay online. I had to pay the delivery driver on delivery. It was very odd. So essentially over time, that's all going to change. E-commerce is going to have its own revolution, not only in the United States as it's continuing, but it's going to continue all around the world. And that's the great thing about Amazon. It make it really, really easy to expand to the rest of the market. So this, in my opinion, and just pretty fact, this is the biggest change in commerce history of the world. And everybody has a chance because Amazon doesn't discriminate based off of who you are, your connections and whatnot. Amazon is a search engine for products. So as long as you're following the rules, you have an option versus, trying to fight and pay tens of thousands of dollars just to get it on a retail shelf. And, your placement is determined by some high-level executive and your relationship with them. There is a crazy amount of Prime members. So there's over 95 million Prime members in the USA alone. That's over 50% of all USA households, and it's going to continue to grow, and they're growing internationally really fast too. So by doing this, you could see essentially everybody's going to have Amazon or at least purchase on Amazon at some point because, you go to Google when you want to find products, you go to Amazon when you want to find them. Now, here's the interesting thing. If we take a look at this, a non-Prime member will spend about $600 a year and have about a 13% conversion rate when they go to the website. But Prime, look at that, $1,500 a year they spend on average. That's up $200 from last year. And when they go to the website and they type something in, there's a 74% chance that they're actually buying a product when they go to Amazon and search. That's unheard of. So while now it's not 74% every time they land on a page or your product page, but they're going there to buy. So people are going to Amazon at the end of the life cycle of researching. So you first become aware of something that you need, and then you research, and that's typically where people go to Google, and then you go to Amazon to buy it. So we're able to find pre-qualified people who say, I want a product right now, and they're going to choose pretty much 74% chance to get it. And My guess is those 26%, they come back later to buy it, or they just didn't find what they were looking for, because not everything's on Amazon yet. So I just want to show you guys a reference. The top 500 e-commerce merchants have a conversion rate of how much? Okay, 3.32%. And then compared to that 74% of Amazon, that's, it's crazy. Okay, so up to this point, we've determined Amazon's the search engine of products, but it's a lot more than that too. All right, so we go down here. Amazon is leverage. So not only are they going to provide you with 100 million plus customers instantly and start driving traffic your way if you have the right product for what people are looking for, but you also get to leverage the authority and trust of Amazon. I know a lot of times I myself personally, I go to a website or see an ad for something that I really don't know if I could trust that. But at least I know that if it's on Amazon.com, I get that returns, it's going to come fast. And if there's a problem, Amazon's going to make it right. Now, that's not your case with every other website. You're like, I'm going to have to call them. I get on a phone with someone from a foreign country. It's going to be a long process. I might not get my money back. You don't have to worry about any of that with Amazon. You get their authority and trust, but also you get their warehousing, the logistics, inventory management. So all of this stuff right here, okay, this is Amazon FBA. So with Amazon FBA, they actually store all of the inventory for you, all right? They're going to give you a nice little dashboard. So you get a software program that is essentially showing you all of your products and makes it really easy to edit and update everything. They drive customers your way. They house your products. And then when it's bought, they manage the shipping label. They do that all. They ship it all out for you. Then on top of that, they get it there in 2 days, sometimes even overnight if they want to pay that extra, but it doesn't cost you anything extra. So the Amazon FBA program just allows you to scale at the end of the day, all right? You don't have to manage your inventory organization, which as you start to get a lot of products and you start remembering like, oh, what condition is this in and where is it all? And then, you also don't have to go and buy warehouse space, all right? So what happens if you start to grow really fast and you want to add more products and then it's like, oh, wait, and then you have to get staff to manage all of that? No, you don't have to do that with Amazon FBA either. Somebody wants overnight shipping and, or a question, can you ship it here? Amazon takes care of that, all right? And then you know what's great? Guess how much all of this costs? With such a great value proposition, it must cost a lot of money. Well, it actually doesn't. So, for example, I bought these alpaca shorts. So these alpaca swim shorts, and this is a great example of why Amazon is great. Now, these are unique. They're the only ones in the world. Nobody else is making alpaca swim shorts. I paid $40 for these, and I needed an alpaca outfit for a music festival I was going to, and it was in 3 days. So I went onto Amazon and bought this, and it had Prime shipping, and I knew it was going to be good quality. There was only a couple of reviews on it, but it was what I wanted. It would get there on time, so I bought it anyways. Now, these cost a couple dollars to make, but I was willing to do it because of Amazon FBA. So the person who did this, maybe these cost about $3 to make, 3 to 5, it's just swim shorts. You see some at Walmart for $5. So we just talked about the platform. We just talked about all those benefits of Amazon FBA, but you think it would cost a lot of money, but really it doesn't. So at the time that I bought this, to get it overnighted to me, which is what I ended up paying for, it cost that seller how much? It only cost that seller $2.44. All right. Now that's amazing because considering this, when I go buy the cheapest possible postage from the post office, it costs me about $2.10 alone. And then, so for 34 extra cents, they managed, they organized, they shipped it out on time, did the customer service and all of that extra stuff, and also brought me the customer. Now you do pay a 15% fee for the Amazon, but here's the thing. So this is where a lot of people get stuck up on is the fees and stuff. This 15% that they pay to Amazon as a fee, it doesn't matter because I paid $40 for these. It's such a high. So here's the main point. People, like we talked about earlier. Well, let me find that up here. Look. People convert well, Amazon Prime members, and they spend a lot of money because they're looking for something, and people are going to convert and pay premium prices. The average Amazon Prime customer has over $70,000 in income every year. So they're willing and coming to Amazon for the premium price. And there's a lot more factors in the buying decision than just price. And it's all those things that we talk about: reliability, trust, ability to return, ease, shipping speed. So that's what you get with Amazon. So the fee of being on Amazon more than pays for itself, because the whole logistical side they do for cheaper than what you can buy the postage and the packaging for. So it's a no-brainer in my opinion. And we will go in a little bit. I'll tell you about why it's a really good opportunity from more of a fundamental analysis. But now I want to talk to you guys about the financial analysis. If you were to compare this as an investment instead of building a business, I'll show you guys why this is way better than stocks or real estate, which is where most people think that you make a lot of money. Let's compare starting an e-commerce business and leveraging Amazon to stock market returns. So if we take a look at good old Apple here, this is the world's largest company, all right? It's worth $986 billion right now. Now, let's say you would have invested in Apple right when it became public and you held it, all right? So it took 38 years until today. It went public in 1980. And the return on that, it was worth about $1.778 billion when it IPO'd, and then today it's worth $986 billion, all right? This ended up being a 554x return, but that took 38 years, assuming you held and did everything, that you got a 554x return. And this doesn't even account for inflation. That's the best investment of all time in stock market. There may have been higher ROIs, but that's the biggest company in the world that exists today. And if you would have invested at the beginning to now 554x after inflation, maybe about 100, 200x roughly. However, if we take a look at the historical average of stocks over time, it's about a 7 to 10% return, which is, it's not bad. It's passive, but that's about what you can expect to get. However, if we take a look at Amazon FBA on the flip side, it's not unusual and very actually common to get 100% or 500% a year on your initial investment of a product. Now, there also is the opportunity. There also is the possibility, though, that it goes to 0%. But once you get started going on products and you learn how it works, it's very rare that people fail. I know friends who have, they've launched 45 products and they failed one, and they got all their money back on that one. So I'll just show you quickly what my results were. So on mine, I failed actually my first 8 products, okay? But I did them in a way that I lost about $3,000 to $5,000, okay? Well, on the next product then, I invested about $7,500, all right? Now, in the next 6 months, I parlayed this investment and turned that into $3.2 million profit. So if we take a look at that, that's effectively a 442 times of your investment. So 44,200% in 6 months. So when we're comparing it to Apple here, 55,400% over 38 years right there, all right? But after inflation, about let's just call it a 15,000% return over 38 years, or 42,600 over 6 months. It's pretty clear in my mind. Now, granted, Apple would be passive, but there's a lot of mental thought that actually goes into holding a company for 38 years. So I'd rather put in the 6 months and get these kind of returns. Now my results aren't typical, and I have a very interesting story, which you guys will get to hear throughout this course and on my YouTube and my Instagram. So make sure to check that out. But it's very common. I've heard many stories, and you'll see on the internet, and I know many people that have gone from about $10,000 investment and turned it into $1 million business in 1 year. And that's no BS. And that's at about a 20% margin. So that ends up being about $200,000 in profit in 1 year. So that's a 20x return on your investment. And then guess what? Now this is set up and relatively automated. There's still work that's going on, but that's just in year 1. So if you take this and go, I know many millionaires that have been made, and I can honestly say this, I don't know any industry that's building more millionaires and successful businesses than Amazon right now, e-commerce in general. So now this is not specifically Amazon. This is talking about e-commerce in general because it is a mega trend like we talked about earlier. But as we talked about earlier also, all the traffic and people are going to buy on Amazon, and it's the best way to scale out and start your brand. Eventually you can go and have your own platform after, but to get started, this is the best way that I know of currently at this point in time as of November 2018 as of this recording. But I don't see that going anywhere else in the next couple of years. And if it does happen and there is a better opportunity, I will let you guys know and update this video. But I'm very confident in saying this. Oh yeah, and if just in case you were wondering about stocks again, let's say, oh, but what about active traders, not passive traders? Even the world record for the highest ROI from an active trader was 29,000% in 1 year, and that I know people and myself who have done better than that. So they're actively trading stocks all year. It's kind of like trading physical products, but you're creating an actual company and value that is long term instead of kind of extracting value from other people. You're providing something to the world instead of trading pieces of paper. Another reason why Amazon is such an amazing opportunity is because we cut out the middlemen. So here's a quick concept of the retail markup. So when you go and buy a $100 product at the store, like let's call it some Bose headphones. Now, granted, no Bose headphones are $100 really, none of the good ones, but let's just pretend that they were. So essentially, that retailer bought it for $50 when you paid $100. Well, because he has to make money. He has his own store and employees, whatnot. And then, of course, they have to take out loans and whatnot. Anyways, but then he actually bought it from a wholesaler. So who paid $35 because, they have to do it. And essentially this brand or the manufacturer then actually made it for about $18. They assemble it and make the product designs and stuff, but they had to get all the raw materials from somewhere, so it ends up being about $9. By doing Amazon private label, starting your own brand and distributing direct to consumer, you are able to offer a $100 product, in the past, for $50 or less, even at the $35, depending on how many people you cut out, because there's so much cost savings and less people that need to make money in this process. So we just take a look at it visually here. There's all these people here. We just use the materials and the factory, and then essentially we're able to cut out that store, cut out the wholesaler, and we become the brand, and then we become happy, and we offer a better product for a lot better price. In summary, Amazon is the search engine of products. Amazon is the place that everybody's going. E-commerce is a megatrend and it's taking over the world. So you can go in and get on the world's largest platform for free. Like there's what's $40 a month to use Amazon FBA, but there's never been a better time where there's more opportunity for anybody to start a business than on Amazon FBA. And you can leverage the authority and the reputation of the Amazon FBA brand. And what does this do at the end of the day? This allows you to go from an idea to profit the fastest. You can go and find manufacturers who are making things just like what you want and then ask them to change it a little bit. You can go on the world's largest platform. You can have them ship it over to Amazon. Amazon ships it. They bring you the customers and you get the trust and authority of the Amazon brand. And it's the best way to just go from idea to building a business. All the barriers are basically being removed and there's no excuse now. And it's the best investment opportunity and it's just starting. It's really taken over in America, but it's not saturated yet. There's plenty of opportunities. It's the biggest change in commerce history and the best investment opportunity or opportunity to build a business, opportunity to whatever you want. Amazon is changing the world and you could be a part of it. And now we're going to go over all the steps that are involved so you can get and build that mental framework so that you can start filling in all the pieces and that you can get to start to take some action and take advantage of the best business opportunity in 2018, 2019, 2020, and beyond.